getting ready for wrap, and basically ready for dyno. Sounding good, nice and crisp. What are we doing? What happened to that headlight? Might have been some crash damage from Irwindale. Headlight adjustment. Fresh headlights. Well, at least fresh to me. These things are expensive. Just mounting it up. Continuing on. Almost there. Since we got the car up and running, we're currently working on lighting and tying a few things down, and basically doing our final preparation before dyno and testing coming into Long Beach. So we're looking good, and final touches include getting our tail lights and third brake light working. The back end often gets softened at Formula Drift events, so we're trying to get everything freshened and squared. And if you're not familiar with Formula Drift and the third brake light, we basically have a brake light strip that runs at the top of the back window or somewhere in the back visible vicinity of the car, facing either the chase driver or in the rearward direction, so the judges can actually see if we're using foot brake when there's a lot of smoke cloud. Because if you think about it, behind the rear tires, you're probably not seeing much of this particular brake light unless it's nighttime and it's lighting up. And then a lot of the times we're dragging the back bumpers or tails of the car on the walls, or there's potential collisions or contact with walls. So getting the third brake light up here is part of the rules, very important, and that's a little bit of what it's about, is visibility through smoke for both judges and drivers. That's why we got 3 brake lights in Formula Drift. Who knew? And on top of getting that rear brake light working, we're also prepping rear deck lids because they get used up. Picked up a fresh duck bill to mount up as well. Good test. While we're working on bodywork and other parts, we're gonna patch Nelson, my tuner, in so he can go over our Haltech ECU setup and check our smart wire setup, which had had some issues, and just make sure everything's looking perfect. Oh, we also got a brand new NGK NGT, oh wait, no, NGK NTK sensor, which is supposed to be more accurate and more reliable, especially when using ethanol. So we're getting ready to plug that into the system as well. And that's a co-product, so it's a Haltech O2 sensor box that's using the new NGK NTK O2 sensor with better calibration or just more sensitivity. And since everything the car is doing is all based on tuning, based on us being able to read the map, it's really important for us to be able to monitor what the Haltech ECU sees through that wideband O2 system. And the better it can read, the better the results we can have. Here's that new sensor, and we just put in some new NGK plugs. So NTK sensor, NGK plugs. We're stoked. If you're a Formula Drift team, there's a really good chance you're working on your car right now, or you're testing your car right now. Everything's looking real nice on the KMR Renewable Lubricants team. We're feeling good about the year. Working on bodywork, listening to music, hanging out with my pops. Do you like it? Oh. It's the air. All right, so Zarek Fab just setting up the subframe. What do you have? What are the suspension notes?
Look, that's top secret. We can't let anyone know.
Oh, that's top secret. So basically, we're feeling good and we're feeling secretive. But along with alignment and getting the chassis and suspension all squared up, we noticed the injectors weren't perfect, so we sent them out to our good friends over at RC. We got them all matched, cleaned, and back to perfection. Things we're doing. So we just dropped our radium rails back on. Fitment is fantastic on the 3-rotor. Injectors are in, tightening up the fuel lines, and getting ready for some dyno later this week. The ground, it's starting to look really good, and we're just continuing to wrap up small items. And since everything's on back order, we're actually fixing last year's front bumper because we can't get a new one right now. Some fiberglassing. This is when your team gets serious about fixing bodywork. We're getting serious. Engine bay's back together. Second time, we ended up coming back in and fixing a couple small things after that first start. That's what that first start is for. So now we're approaching second start. So sitting on the ground, getting ready for wrap, and basically ready for dyno. Sounding good, nice and crisp. KMR.